Assalamu alaikum dear students, and welcome to the 59th session of the KIPS Distance Learning Program Current Affairs Newspaper Roundup session. I'm your host Shahrukh Haider, and today we're going to see what kind of nefarious activities has India been planning against Pakistan to destabilize Pakistan internally, which means what are the strategies that India is employing under its fifth generation warfare against Pakistan. So before we can get into that, what is fifth generation warfare? That's an important question that we need to address. So under fifth generation warfare, since traditional state to state warfare has receded due to a number of factors and developments in the international arena, among the most important which is nuclearization by Pakistan and India, the state to state conflict and rivalry is still present, which means that states use alternative means to damage their rival, and that is exactly what India is trying to do. So fifth generation warfare generally entails that one state will try to internally destabilize its rival. It will use media warfare and disinformation campaigns to undermine the public interest in that state, in the government of that state. It will support anti-state elements within that state to create instability and violence and create a situation of terror and fear in that country. It will attempt to diplomatically isolate that country in the international arena using its position in international organizations such as the United Nations, United Nations Security Council, the Financial Action Task Force, IMF and other such international organizations, and it will economically try to strong arm its rival by outdoing it in trade, by replacing it as a trade partner to other countries. So what does India's fifth generation warfare against Pakistan entail? Well, that basically started in 2004 after India finalized and cemented its aggressive policy against Pakistan by the name of Cold Start Doctrine. You might have heard of it. So under the Cold Start Doctrine, there were a couple of initiatives that India sought to undertake to destabilize Pakistan internally. These are that India sought to keep the line of control on the India-Pakistan border in Kashmir unstable and continuously try to create violations of the line of control so that Pakistan is consistently militarily engaged on its eastern border and utilizes more and more resources to keep its eastern border in Kashmir safe. Secondly, India has attempted to divide Pakistan's army from its most concentration on the eastern border with India to its western border with Afghanistan as well. And this division has to some extent been successful in this case. Thirdly, India has sought to destabilize Pakistan's western border as well, besides the eastern border with India, obviously, by creating insurgencies on the western border, supporting terrorist organizations such as the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and the Haqqani network to create instability on Pakistan's western border, so that this instability would invite Pakistan's army from the eastern border onto the western border and divide the army into two halves, which would definitely make Pakistani army and establishment insecure, and they would demand more and more money from Pakistan's budget. That would definitely create a budget deficit and prevent Pakistan from investing in socio-economic development. Moreover, India also sought to create, support and facilitate terrorist and anti-state lobbies, activities and groups in Pakistan to create discord within Pakistan society. Now, it became clear after the arrest and interrogation of the raw spy Kulbhushan Jadhav in 2016 to what extent India, using its intelligence wing of RAW, was trying to create all of these internal imbalances and insecurities within Pakistan. So the entire Kulbhushan Jadhav network was unveiled after the raw spy confessed most of things, and that network was being used to create instability and conduct terrorist attacks on Pakistani soil, especially in collaboration with the Balochistan Liberation Army, which is an anti-Pakistan insurgency and violent independence struggle. Moreover, the RAW and India was also involved in collaboration with Iran to destabilize and undermine Pakistan's Gwadar and CPEC broadly, using the Chabahar port network as an alternative to CPEC and Gwadar, and by using the Chabahar port to facilitate, to arm and to fund separatist elements and anti-Pakistan elements, to embolden them as well. Thirdly, India has also tried to diplomatically isolate Pakistan on the international arena in multiple organizations in multiple ways. So firstly, India has tried to brand Pakistan as a state sponsor of terror, as a rogue state, and until very recently, India was quite successful in doing so, because most of the world viewed Pakistan as a state sponsor of terror, as a proxy supporting nation which tries to achieve its strategic objectives not through its own military or its own means, but by funding and supporting non-state actors such as proxy groups. And secondly, India has also tried to lobby to get Pakistan or to push Pakistan into Financial Action Task Force black list. And although India hasn't succeeded in that, but still the idea that Pakistan is still in FATF's grey list and hasn't been able to escape it, one reason for that is India's constant attempts to keep Pakistan there and to push it further down the lane. And thirdly, India has tried to undermine CPEC by calling it main route, which passes through Gilgit-Baltistan, as a disputed territory, and under international law, according to India, no development or inter-country route can pass through disputed territory. It even convinced the US to adopt this narrative on CPEC and Gilgit-Baltistan issue, which has been quite a security threat to Pakistan and Pakistan's CPEC. Moreover, only very recently, the ISPR, the ISI, and the Foreign Ministry in collaboration released a very damning and detailed dossier on Indian nefarious designs and activities in Pakistan, which include supporting and creating terrorist attacks, terrorist networks, and trying to destabilize Pakistan internally by spreading terror attacks, fear, and hysteria. The dossier contained very clear evidence of how India has and RAW has supported, funded and facilitated anti-state elements within Pakistan, including the Balochistan Liberation Army, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, and other anti-state proscribed organizations to destabilize Pakistan from within. This, obviously, all of this is within the broader umbrella of India's fifth generation warfare against Pakistan under the cold Start Doctrine of 2004. Moreover, Pakistan also shared this dossier with the United Nations Security Council and the United Nations Secretary General to inform the world of India's nefarious design in the region, which are a direct threat to regional security. And only yesterday, the chairman ISPR, the Director General of ISPR, also gave a media briefing in which he highlighted that India was consistently trying to destabilize Pakistan by its fifth generation warfare. He mentioned that India's misinformation campaigns against Pakistan, especially on social media, are proving to be a major threat. And a good example of that, he said, was that the Indian media tried to frame and portray their recent explosion in a Karachi hotel as a civil war. Now, that creates a negative impression of Pakistan in the international arena. Moreover, he also highlighted that India has been trying to undermine the CPEC project through multiple means by attacking critical Chinese targets, undermining it internationally, diplomatically, and using all means necessary to support the Balochistan Liberation Army, which then attacks CPEC projects and tries to derail it. And finally, he said that India has been increasing its line of control violations to further destabilize the Kashmir region, especially after India unilaterally changed the status of Indian occupied Kashmir. And things are heating up. Clearly, India's belligerent regional attitude can no longer be tolerated by Pakistan. In the next vlog, we will discuss what responses has Pakistan been giving to Indian aggression and what possible solutions can be there for Pakistan to make the best out of this situation. Thank you very much. Take care.